Where are you? Oh, here he is. Now, doesn't he look good in his apron? Very good. Boys, you can switch Amos on. Thank you, Amos.
Well, hello everyone. It's good to see you all again. And today, as you can see, I've got my apron on. What would I be demonstrating in a health talk? Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about commonly available herbs and how you can use them to get rid of various health conditions and enhance your health. We're not going to talk about stuff that you have to get special formulations. We're going to talk about things that you can find on the supermarket shelf or in your backyard, but that are very effective all the same. A lot of people today, particularly as they get older, they get heartburn problems. Some people get that when they're younger as well. And so the normal thing when they've got heartburn problems is to go to the doctor and he'll prescribe an antacid. And what an antacid does, it's an alkaline, so it will neutralise the acid in your stomach and therefore it won't burn as much. But the acid in your stomach is really very important for your digestion. So if you neutralise it, well, that's kind of like turning out the power because you've got an electrical fault or, something like that. It's kind of getting rid of an aspect of your body that's so important just to get rid of the symptoms. Most of the time, it's just a case of indigestion. It's basically your stomach gagging. That's what acid reflux is. Because it's not very happy with what's inside. There's a bit of fermentation. You've overeaten perhaps, and there's too much food. And therefore it starts to come up the esophagus out of the valve that's at the top of your stomach. And your esophagus is not designed to take that much acid. So, what's a better thing to do about it? Well, we have some really good herbs for digestion and for calming an upset digestion and help things get back on track again. One of them that you can find in the supermarket shelf is fennel. It basically tastes like aniseed. This is fennel seed. Just take a couple of teaspoons of this and steep it in some boiling hot water. Maybe let it simmer a little bit because they are fairly hard. And cup of that. Very, very effective at relieving cramping, digestive issues, enhancing the digestion, getting rid of gas, generally giving you a better appetite. Generally, and it's, you might find it on your supermarket shelf, but it's actually quite a powerful, effective herb. It's not just, say chamomile, for example, very mild herb, good herb, but very mild. Peppermint and fennel, on the other hand, are quite powerful herbs. So peppermint's the other one I want to talk to you about today. This is also off the supermarket shelf. And don't be afraid of these herbs. I mean, they are maybe one step down from a vegetable. You can eat quite large quantities of these herbs without any harmful side effects at all. So having 6 cups a day wouldn't be a problem at all. A lot of the time too, acid reflux and poor digestion is caused by not drinking enough water, because the digestive juices have quite a volume. In the space of a day, you produce about 9 litres of digestive fluids in total. That's saliva, gastric, bowel, pancreas, liver, the whole lot together. So that has to come from somewhere. It does get reabsorbed, but it has to come from somewhere in the first place. And if you're dehydrated, your digestion doesn't work so well. So if you have a large cup, say if you really want to give it a good hit, have a large cup of say 2 teaspoons of this and 2 tea bags of peppermint tea in a really large glass of water about 45 minutes before your meal. That will get everything ready, settled down, primed up, and get the fluids into your system. See, what happens if you have the tea after your meal or during your meal is that it dilutes all the digestion, because the stomach cannot absorb water. And many people are going to probably raise their eyebrows at this, but actually what happens, it lets the water out the bottom and it's absorbed by your bowel. Your stomach is coated with this thick layer of mucus that enables it to take acid that would burn a hole in the rest of your body. So it can't absorb water. It doesn't. It doesn't absorb nutrition. It doesn't absorb water. The only thing that can go through your stomach is alcohol and some drugs. And they shouldn't be there anyway. So 2 very powerful herbs, very effective. Peppermint has some other good things about it, besides just being a digestive herb. Very powerful antispasmodic, anti-irritant, anti-inflammatory. It has been proven very effective in irritable bowel syndrome. One Italian study found that there was a 75% reduction in symptoms when they took a capsule of peppermint oil, it was in this case. And it prevents itching. So if you have rashes and itching, and you were to take a tea bag and put it in maybe this much boiling water to make a really, really strong brew and put it on, chances are if the irritant is not still there perpetuating the problem, it should soothe it. Now the other herb, which I haven't got an example of here, but which you'll find readily, dried and fresh, in the supermarket, is ginger. And ginger is another very powerful digestive herb. At the same time, it's a powerful stimulator of the circulation. And circulation is so important. There's another circulatory herb we'll talk about in a minute. You see, in the little laneways between your cells, where the deliveries happen to your cells, where the deliveries of vitamins and minerals and fuel and all the things that your cell need, those little laneways are so tiny that the red blood cells actually have to squish to get through. Right? Now, if you've got lots of cholesterol and rubbish and, junk floating around in your system, those tiny little laneways can actually get blocked. And then it has to go around different ways, and the delivery comes late and the cell's going hungry. Right? Not only does that delivery bring the good stuff, it takes away the bad stuff. So it would be equivalent to having a blockade in front of your house so you can't get in your car and you can't walk out, and having your sewer pipes blocked at the same time. Not a healthy situation. And the cells start to drown in their own waste and get no good stuff coming in. And particularly happens if we dress unevenly in cold weather and things like that. You take something like ginger or cayenne pepper or chili, that blasts the circulation open and allows things blood to flood through and get the circulation going again. If you have, we're moving on to chili or cayenne pepper now. Really, the active ingredient of cayenne or chili is identical. The only difference is the amounts of it. The hotter the chili, the more active constituent there is. Some people think, oh, it's no good, it's irritating. But if I was to take the hottest chili I could find and rub it under my armpit, I'd run around screaming for a while, right? But after it was all said and done and the pain had gone away, if you examine, there would be no blistering, no tissue damage whatsoever. The only thing you will see is it will go bright red, which means the blood has come in like a flood and it's blasting through all the little laneways between the cells, clearing stuff out, making stuff move, getting lots of nutrition in, lots of waste out. That is if the nutrition's in your blood in the first place. And you've been eating well, which is why you come here to learn how to do that. So, cayenne pepper, if someone is having a heart attack, and you give them a strong dose of cayenne pepper or chili, it can actually sometimes arrest the heart attack completely because it will blast the circulation open, the blockage passes on, and the blood gets there. It's happened many times. I'm not saying just sit at home, relax and take cayenne pepper. Take it on the way to hospital. But it's a really good thing to know, particularly if you live with somebody. Take about half a teaspoon. They're going to hate you, but down that. It'll get your mind off the problem, but anyway. But it can be very effective. With stroke, it's the same thing. A stroke and a heart attack have virtually the same cause. It's a blood clot that's got lodged in the wrong place. If it's a blood clot in your coronary arteries, we call it a heart attack. If it's in another artery somewhere going to your head or your body, we call it a stroke. Same treatment. Take a good dose of cayenne pepper, maybe half a teaspoon. Don't give it to someone unconscious, because if you give someone unconscious fluids, they can go into their lungs, and cayenne pepper in the lungs is not a good idea. So, before we go any further, I want to just quickly show you one of the best ways to prepare fresh herbs. If you've got the peppermint fresh in your backyard, if you've got the fennel, now this is fennel, remember I showed you the seeds, this is the plant here. It can actually grow very large. When it goes to seed, this one's been off the plant a little while, but when it goes to seed, it grows up this high and a bit more sometimes. And the seeds will be on top, that's where they come from. And you might have seen it around. You might have actually pulled it out of your garden and wished it wasn't there, and maybe sprayed it sometimes and said, why on earth did God create this weed? Well, everything's there for a purpose, and fennel is there for a purpose too. For those of you who do not like the taste of aniseedy, licoricey sort of stuff, or maybe you can stick with peppermint. I did have a knife here somewhere. I'll just have to go and grab it. Okay. You don't have to chop it fine. It's going in a blender. If you have you can do it in a normal blender, but a high-speed blender is a lot more effective. You can do this with any herb. It's much more effective, much more powerful than a herbal tea. Herbal tea, because the hot water's been on it, it's destroyed a lot of the enzymes and a lot of the active components. Herbal teas were great in the old days, before we had blenders like this. That's why they tend to be very prevalent, because herbal medicine is very old. But now that we have this sort of technology, we can get a much more effective... Now, you want to this could probably have a little more water. You want to leave about just under a third of the blender empty, because it will foam a bit, and you don't want foam coming out of there like a fountain. Very simple, just put it on to blend. Wait until it's fine. and put it through a sieve. Probably should be finer than this, but this was the best we had, so this one would be a little bit more for the brave people, a little bit scratchy in the throat, but and then we'll just leave that to drain through there. We have some ground ginger here. The next herb I'm going to talk about is garlic. Now, a lot of these herbs are underestimated because we see them all the time and we don't think they could possibly be that amazing because they're in the kitchen and they're in the supermarket. But garlic is very, very powerful. It contains a substance called allicin, which will kill just about anything by way of microbes, whether it's fungal, bacterial. It is antiviral as well. It is antimicrobial, protozoa, all those sort of things. It will kill just about any microorganism. It will kill parasites as well. But you know what the amazing thing about it is? It doesn't kill good bacteria. As a matter of fact, it promotes their growth. This contains a lot of fructooligosaccharides, I think they're called, which are the food for good bacteria. So it wipes out the bad guys and feeds the good guys, which is really good. And the other good thing about it is you can tell who your true friends are. But not only does it do that, but it's very good at lowering blood pressure. If you use it among other herbs like I had another thing here which would lower blood pressure. I was going to talk a bit about lemongrass. If you have 6 glasses of strong lemongrass to your day, it can effectively lower your blood pressure. I've known people who the doctor said you have to start taking the drugs. They did that. They didn't need it anymore because the blood pressure had come down to normal. Garlic is also quite effective at lowering blood pressure. A study showed that the equivalent of 4 cloves per day could lower blood pressure with results comparable to atenolol, which is one of the leading blood pressure drugs. It also lowers cholesterol, and studies have shown 10 to 15% reduction in cholesterol. And not only that, I learnt this one new today, a 4-week study of workers in a battery factory which their lead levels were too high. They got a 19% reduction in levels of lead over a 4-week period. And the symptoms disappeared as well. It got better results than some of the drugs they were using to lower the lead. Garlic is also a very powerful anti-cancer herb, anti-tumour type herb. And I believe there are quite a lot of studies that have proven that too, that the incidence of cancer is lower in populations who tend to consume a lot of garlic. So not to be underestimated. You just got to plan ahead when you're going to eat it. No good. I do massage. I mean, that wouldn't be good. But so one more we're going to talk about today. You see, today we are actually going to be using some of these herbs. There's ginger in a cake that they'll be making, and there's garlic in the leaf form, like the garlic. What do they call it? Garlic leaves, anyway. Garlic grass. I don't know what they call it. Garlic chives. That's what I was looking for. And there's also parsley in the eggplant dish that they're going to be presenting to you today. It's better raw, but parsley is still quite effective as a herb cooked. And believe it or not, parsley is very, very powerful. There have been cases of edema so bad. Edema is fluid retention, where you swell up with fluid. There have been cases of edema so bad that the doctor thought the person was going to die. And parsley has gotten rid of it completely, because it's very effective it's the kidney and bladder herb. It's very effective at stimulating the flow of urine. and the production of urine. So if a person has lowered kidney function, if they are on dialysis, parsley is the herb. If they have edema, parsley is the herb. You can have it in large doses. If you look in the medical books, you'll probably see like a teaspoon in a cup. I mean, come on. People eat tabbouleh, and they might have a large serve of that. Well, how many teaspoons have you got there? It's not poisonous. You can have large amounts of it. And if you're going to be effective, I'd be taking a whole posy of the stuff and putting it in the blender, blending it, straining it, drinking it, if you want to use it as a medicine. And it's ready. You can get it anywhere. You can grow it. You can find it in the fruit shop, in the supermarket. You can get it everywhere. It does actually help to prevent and reduce kidney stones. It's not a powerful enough herb to get rid of kidney stones existing, but it is generally in the formulas that the herbal formulas that are targeted towards kidney stones. It's a part of the team, I guess you'd say. So this is strained through. Normally, I would get my hands into this and push it through. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get dirty right now. But if you want to taste this, I mean, the ladies are like, oh no, and it is fairly full on. But if you want to taste this later, we can always get you a little cup and have a little try. It's kind of like grassy aniseed, if you like. It's got a fairly strong taste, but it's got a very strong aniseed taste as well. It's not that unpleasant. Among herbal things, you can get a lot worse. So, I just wanted to share that with you tonight because many times people make these things complicated. You have to spend a lot of money. You have to go and get all fancy about it and look up the dosage. But there's some really simple, non-toxic herbs that you can eat as much as you want of, and they won't hurt you. They might hurt your social life, but if you were to eat a whole clove of this a day, a whole bulb, I should say, it will not hurt you. And there's some people who have done that in extreme cases of disease and got very good results. You wouldn't do it if you weren't very sick, but it's non-toxic. It's a good herb. And don't be afraid of herbs. A lot of people, they think, oh, is it going to be too much if I have 3 teaspoons when they said 2? Well, with these sort of herbs, it's not. It's just a plant. It grows outside. You can almost eat some of them like a vegetable, like parsley. So don't be afraid. A good, like drinking that much fennel in a day would never hurt you. What we just prepared there. And that's probably quite a good amount. Drinking, like taking a bunch of parsley, which might be, that round in your hand, and drinking that in a day is what you should be doing if you've got problems with your kidneys or the like. Anything less than about 4 cloves of garlic a day is not really going to have a huge medicinal benefit. It's going to have a benefit, don't get me wrong, but 4 or 5 cloves a day if you're really aiming to get rid of parasites or you're aiming to get rid of candida would be minimum dose. Quite effective at killing candida too. Cayenne pepper, use your common sense, but even with that, if you were to take a tablespoon, it will not kill you. It'll just give you a lot of grief. And I don't recommend it, but I'm just saying it's not toxic. It won't kill you. Don't be afraid of herbs. Ginger's pretty powerful, like a teaspoon or 2 per day would be way, any more than that would be more than adequate. And even a half a teaspoon is quite a lot for ginger. So, any questions? Yeah? Yes, it destroys a lot of its medicinal properties because allicin is the smelly stuff that tastes strong. And when you cook it, obviously it doesn't taste or smell as strong, which means that's largely gone. But it's guacamole, you know what that is? Yeah, raw. There are ways that taste great. If you put it with avocado and a bit of cilantro and, that lime and salt and all that sort of stuff, it can taste great. It's just a matter of finding a way that will be palatable for you. With the seeds you could grind them up and mix them with water and leave them to soak. That's very effective. Or you can make a tea. You can put boiling water, let them simmer just a little bit, maybe 20 minutes. That's barely boiling, just below boiling. Anyone else? I saw a hand at the front here in the beginning. Okay, already been answered. Good. Anything else? Okay, we have two. The back was first. Yeah. Less. Well, it's hard to compare because the fresh has got a lot of water in it, which disappears when it's dried. But dried, having quarter teaspoon per cup is plenty. Fresh. I don't know. I really go by taste. More than anything else. Having a knob, that big in a 3 cups of tea is fine. More than that's fine too. It's not a case of it has to be this much and you have to measure it out on the scales. Yes? Anything that sits tends to lose its properties, and they put preservatives in there. It's better to get it fresh. I'm sure it still has benefit, but it's always better fresh. Yes? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Remember, we made that spinach drink with apple. You could do the same thing and just put fennel in. Yeah. We'll take one more, perhaps.
Just with the cayenne pepper, is it so that you get different strains of it? The ones in the shop, is it the normal cayenne pepper?
Cayenne pepper, they do come in hotter and milder forms. So you'll see extra hot on some of the packs, and they pack a bit more punch. It's 40 to 60,000 units of heat units typically. Around about with cayenne pepper. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave it there for tonight, and we'll leave it to the ladies now to entertain and inform you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amos. Now, if you all eat garlic, we wouldn't have a problem of smelling, would we? Yes, so make sure we all eat garlic and we'll start a movement. Thank you. And you also heard about garlic bread, didn't you? Who doesn't like garlic bread? It's nice. Thank you, Amos. So when you go back, can you please pass the microphone to whoever is coming next? Why all the good stuff doesn't taste too good, eh? But, talking about the apple, somebody asked about the apple. When you do proper juicing, whenever you have all these vegetables that don't taste nice, one Granny Smith apple, that's what I say, just put it through and it tastes much nicer. The cayenne pepper, in health food store, they have the medical cayenne pepper too, and that's the highest heat grade. So if you want it for medicinal purposes, that's probably the best place to buy it. Otherwise, fruit shops got them and then supermarkets. Rosetta, you on, are you?
Okay.
You got to get wired up. So what
I
are you
will, but
doing?
Who's wiring up next?
Rice paper rolls. Did you all get your recipes? Now, did you do anything last week, those that were here?
I think it's more.
You did?
They can try it.
Was it a success?
Yeah, that might actually be.
Okay. When did you make them? Did you bring us some samples? Well, bad luck. We're not going to your place to clean. Nope. Well, that's nice. Okay. Well, Lizzie asked if, on your way out if you'd like to do a little bit of a registration and survey. We would love you to fill it up and fill it out. Did you do biscuits too? No, okay, good on you. Different filling. Yeah, that's the beauty of that. You can put whatever you want, all the leftovers, just chuck them in. Well, I'm happy that you do that, because otherwise, why are you coming? You might as well try them and tell us if they work. Rosetta, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Yep? Okay, good. Today, like last week, we did the sushi rolls. This is another one that's nice and easy. The trick is in the preparation to make sure that you've chopped all your veggies and everything's prepared beforehand, and then it's quick. You just put everything together. So what we need for this one, we've got rice paper, firstly. Quick and easy. I'll just need some hot water in here. Okay, the first thing that is probably a good thing to do first is to make up your marinade for your tofu. So you just get the hard, firm tofu that doesn't sort of fall apart, and then you just slice it up into strips so that they're easy to put together. And all the veggies that we're having today will be done more or less just in strips. So we've got the tofu, you chop it, you slice it up, and then it's just a matter of putting soy sauce, sweet chili sauce, and some crushed garlic. You put that together in a bowl, add your tofu, and you just let it sit while you're preparing everything else. So you do that first so that it has time for the flavours to run through. So that is quick and easy. I'll need this one here. Okay, the rice paper. It's I don't know whether you've ever used it before. It's quite stiff when you bring it out of the packet, but once you put it in water, it softens, and then you can use it easily. So we'll do that in a sec. Okay, so here we've got the ingredients that we've chosen for this. But before we actually make the rice paper wrap, we can make a satay sauce. Okay, which is what you dip your rolls in once you've made them. So we'll make that ahead first. So what we need is just a bowl. We'll need some soy sauce. Some sweet soy sauce as well. So you have the plain salty one, then you have the sweet one, which is a little bit thicker and obviously a little bit sweeter. Sweet chili sauce. So this is just a matter of putting all your ingredients together, mixing them up, and your sauce is done. Peanut butter. We've got the crunchy peanut butter, which has the crunch in it, so they have peanut pieces, so it just adds to the texture of the sauce. And then you have the light coconut cream, which is just out of a tin. And then we mix it all together. The hardest part is the peanut butter, just to get it. But if it's at room temperature, it's fine. It'll come together really well. It's just a matter of mixing it all up and then letting it sit for a little while till you make your rolls. There's lime juice as well. You add to it as well. We didn't put a lot of chilies in this one, but you can, obviously, according to your taste. You can add chilies in here so it has that extra bite to it if you prefer something with a little bit of spice, a little bit of heat. But we didn't today because we're not sure if everybody will be able to eat it.
Ask if anyone's allergic to peanuts.
Oh yeah, if anyone's allergic to peanuts, that might be a problem with this sauce. Anybody here got a problem with peanuts?
No? Oh, that's good.
Okay, there you go. So it's just a matter of mixing all your ingredients together, and you let it sit for a little while you make the rolls, and that's it. It's all done. And you've got the sauce there on your plate with you, so that one's done. I'll just move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing next. Okay, what I've got is a shallow dish here with some hot water in it. And all I need to do, I've got a board here and a tea towel. So I just get a wrap, put it in the water. Yeah, it doesn't need to be boiling water, and it just needs to sit for about 15-30 seconds, not long at all, just so that it softens in the warm water. Once you feel that it's nice and soft and it sort of changes its texture a bit, it's not that stiff anymore, you just put it down on your cloth. Then you add your ingredients. We put some shredded lettuce. You just put it towards all in a pile on one end. Cucumber strips, chopped up finely. Red peppers in strips again. Another thing, I omitted to say, was avocado. You might want to put some lime juice or lemon juice on your avocado so it doesn't go brown. So you just sprinkle a bit of juice on it so that it stays nice and fresh for the colour. So you got that, you put your avocado on, and then you put your marinated tofu. Of course, you can change your ingredients depending on your likes, and then it's just a matter of rolling it up. You start from the back closest to you, bring it forward, cover the ingredients, then you do one side, then you do the other side, and you hold it tight and roll. And that's it. I'll do another one. One thing, if you're leaving them on a tray, you might want to just spray a bit of oil on the tray because they stick together. So make sure they're not sitting butted up against each other, otherwise they'll stick together. So you can just spray a bit of oil on your tray if you're going to be serving them on a tray, so that they don't stick together. I'll just make one more for you, just so that you can see how I put it together. You put your rice paper into the water, let it sit for 15-30 seconds. Doesn't take long at all. That was probably a bit quicker, but that's all right. It's easier to work with if it's not really, really soft. Cucumber, lettuce, capsicum, avocado. The water, if not boiling, if it's cold water, it may need to sit a little bit longer. That's all. So if your water cools down in the process, it'll just take a few seconds longer. That's all. It's no big deal. And the bean shoots, and then you get the part that's closest to you. It probably works better if the tea towel's a bit damp, I think, because it's taking up all the water from the rice paper. Oh dear, okay. Definitely a wet tea towel you need, a damp one. Feels like bat's wings.
They can actually spray, give it a water spray.
Yeah.
Before they take
And that's it, easy. And you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of hours if you're not going to be using them straight away, and then serve it obviously with your sauce. And that's it, nice, quick and easy snack. You got that?
Yep. Thank you.
I'll leave that out. Amy.
Thank you, Rosetta. You enjoying that? You want seconds? I better not offer them, I mightn't have enough. But you see how easy it is to make. And did you notice what was inside? What was Amos talking about? Garlic, cayenne. What else did you put on it? I didn't put cayenne, but that's what she was going to do. Amy, you're next. Okay. So you see, you can put garlic in a lot of places. So what did you think? Was it all right? And that's all fresh, and this is the best thing, isn't it? It's almost raw. So that's lovely. Good. Amy's going to do broccoli salad. That's very colourful, Amy.
Okay, how's everybody tonight? Good to have you all here. Alright, this is a very quick and easily done salad. Now, does anybody here not like broccoli? Well, I hope you enjoyed the salad because it's all broccoli pretty much, with a few extra flavours. Okay, so first we're going to do the dressing. So in your blender, you're going to put your cashew nuts. You're going to put your water. Thank you. Your lemon juice. Now, if you would like the dressing a little bit more, with a bit of zest, put a bit more lemon in it, and you can also add some lemon rind if you like that lemony taste. You put your onion powder, your sea salt, your stock powder, which is the Mazzale chicken stock powder. It's got absolutely no meat products in it. And you can get that from Coles. I think Rosetta will bring out the actual packaging. We've used it many times before. I'm sure you all know what it is. The Mazzale tin. The garlic. And 2 dates. Now, if you want it a little bit more tangy, you want it a bit more sweet, the dressing, add a couple more dates. It's really for the flavour that you want. Alright, so I'm just going to make a little bit of noise at the moment. So block your ears. And we'll just blend it up. So just blend it until it's all combined, if you can see that, all mixed. Then you pour it into a little dish. Do you have a... And pop it in the fridge while you get all your other ingredients, just so it gets a little bit harder. Now, you can also add some milk to it if you want it a bit creamier. So This is done with the water base. You can substitute the water for a So Good if you want soya milk, or you can put an almond milk, or you can just use the normal milk as well for an alternative. Now I'm just going to wait for a bowl. I'll explain to you what we've done. These are just frozen garden peas you just buy from Woolworths. All we've done is put some hot water over them. So just defrosted them, put them in a sieve, pour the hot water over them. When they become soft, pull them out. We've used the pickles here, are the dill pickles. And the broccoli, you can use a grater. So you just grate the heads of the broccoli. You can use a food processor if you've got one, and you can also use like a V slicer. It'll all do the trick. Alright, so you pop that into a bowl with your pickles. And your capsicum. Now this isn't a set salad. Sometimes I put corn in it. You can leave bits out if you don't like capsicum, if you don't like peas. You can replace it with corn. Whatever you feel like eating. Now if you don't like broccoli, you can replace it with cauliflower. So you can do it the same with cauliflower. So just give it a bit of a mix. And the colour's beautiful. Looks a bit like Christmas colours. Well, I'm not sure. Probably. It'll probably change the taste a little bit. I've never tried it with the prunes. But if you don't want to use the dates, you can even put like a tablespoon of maple syrup, or if you're having sugar, you can put a little bit of sugar in there. It just gives it that little... Any sweetening kind of works. It just gives it that tang.
If they're not vegan, they can use honey.
Yeah, if you're not vegan, you can use honey. So... it's pretty much up to your own taste what you put into it. Now, I'm going to put the mayo straight in. It doesn't have to go in the fridge. It's better in the fridge, but for tonight's purposes I won't. And you just mix it up. Now, I like a lot of mayo. Some people like less mayo. So, depending on, once again, your taste, how much you would like in it. If you want it runnier, put less nuts or add more milk to it. Okay. Scrape that out. So you just mix it through. And I think... so does anybody have any questions? It's very easy. How does it taste? Thank you. Yes? You don't actually have to soak them. If you've got a normal blender and it doesn't do quite a... How do you say? If you've got like a Vitamix, a Thermomix or something that's quite a powerful machine, then you don't need to soak them. You only need to soak them because normal machines don't really get it to a creamy consistency. That's all. Yes? Probably. It'll just have more of a strong taste. Yeah. Give it a bit of a oomph. Whoops. Okay. And that's your salad. So you can pop it in the fridge, chill it, and then serve it. There we go. Easy as that. You can get your broccoli fix. All right. I think I'm moving on to Mum now. She's going to take over.
Thank you, Amy. Our first presentation Monday, I'm still looking for the owner of these glasses. Somebody has left them behind and nobody's claiming them. No? I promised to auction them if nobody owns up. Just put your money in a blue box and you can have it. Never mind, we'll try. Somebody's bound to ask for them. Okay, is Lydia ready? That also had garlic. Did you notice? Everything's got garlic tonight. I hope your dessert doesn't have garlic, girls.
Sorry. Is that right? Do you want to put it down a bit?
That's okay.
Okay. We won't be long, just setting up. Got lots of goodies, lots of nice ingredients tonight. I'll be needing. Okay, I believe. Good evening, everyone. I believe Amos was talking about herbs and different things that you could use today. So we're going to use some of those herbs in one of our dishes. And tonight I'm going to make an Oriental eggplant savoury to put on top of our polenta. Oriental eggplant are these thin-shaped eggplants, and they can be found in any of the fruit shops. And what you can do is sometimes you get longer ones and fatter ones, so you just judge the size as how to cut it. And what I've done is I've cut the eggplant, I've put the salt on it and let it sit. And then what I've done after that is I grilled it. Now I've got one of those grillers, but you can do it in a sandwich press if you've got one, and it'll do the same job. But before we do that, we'll start off with the polenta. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put 1 cup, I've measured 1 cup of polenta into the saucepan. Now, when you're doing polenta, it gets all gluggy sometimes if you put it in while the water's hot. So in order for that to happen, just mix it up with a bit of cold water first. So I'm going to use 1 cup of cold water. Sorry, I thought I had my cup here, but 1 cup of cold water. This one is half. This one here is half, so I'll have to put 2. Now on your sheet, it says to mix the polenta flour with the stock powder first, and then put the cold water in. But it doesn't matter which way it goes, so we're just going to add the stock powder to it. If you don't want to use stock powder to give it that different taste, you can just use ordinary salt or vegetable salt. So you can use whatever you would like. And just mix it up so it's nice and moist. And that way it won't stick together and it won't give you a hard time. Now, to use the boiling water is really good because it makes the cooking process a lot faster. So I add 3 cups of boiling water. Could I have a cup measure, please? I'm going to use up the boiling water. I think it's hot enough. I'll just run that through again a little bit. And that will cook. And what you have to do is you put the water in, and it's going to be a lot of water separated from the actual polenta flour that you have in your saucepan. You have to keep on stirring it until it all soaks up. The water's all soaked up. Once the water's all soaked up, then you can just put the lid on it and let it simmer, okay? So don't leave it without mixing it while it's still separated. So we're just going to I boiled this water beforehand, so I think it should be fine. So I'll put 3 cups of water. So the ratio is 1:4, okay? The ratio of polenta to water is 1:4. Okay. And we'll put that on the stove. And that takes not too long. It'll just thicken it up. And once the water's all absorbed, then you just put the lid on and simmer that. So we'll get that underway. And I'm going to use a herb called garlic chives. Now the garlic chives is flat. It's like a chive, but it's flat, okay? It doesn't always have to be as big as this. It could be a little bit smaller, but it has to be. When you see a flat leaf, okay, then you know it's a garlic chive. So we're going to use some garlic chives today to give it taste to our dish that we're going to serve on top of the polenta, as you can see here. And then we're going to also use some parsley, thank you, Rosetta, continental parsley. I've just broken the leaves off, washed it and broken the leaves off so that someone doesn't like it, they can take it out of their meal. While Rosetta's doing that, I might as well start on with the actual sauce that we're going to have. I start off with my oil and I saute my onion and garlic, and that's what you smell so good when you came over here tonight. You probably could smell that yummy food. It always smells good when you put your onion and your garlic and you saute it. So I'm just going to put that on the other side of the stove and saute that. And I'm going to also put a red banana capsicum. Now, it has a little bit different taste to the normal capsicums. It's not as strong, it's not as powerful as the normal. You can get them in green or red. If you get them green, or bake them in the oven until the skin sort of blisters up, and then you can peel the skin, and that makes a lovely salad. If you put some dressing on that, that's really nice. But tonight we're going to use the red one. And I'm going to slice this up and show you how to, I need a knife. Could you pass me a knife, please? Yep, I'll do this. We're going to, has anyone got one of those grillers? Yes? Do you use it much? No. No? Okay, well you can have you ever made vegetable stacks? You can grill everything in that. You can grill eggplants, zucchini, sweet potato, a lot of things you can do it in that, mushrooms, and it makes a really nice vegetable stack. And you don't need any oil. You just put your slice up whatever you want, and you close it down. So we'll be using that tonight. Thank you, Rosetta. Okay, I'm just going to slice this into 4 sections, and I'm going to pop that over to pop some salt onto it, and then I'm going to, normally I would let that sit for a while I prepare something else, and then it lets a lot of water out of the eggplant and a lot of the really strong bitterness. Sometimes it's a bit bitter. It just goes out with the salt. But tonight, because of the time factor, I'm just going to use it really quickly, and I'm not going to let it sit down. I use the Himalayan salt. Have you heard of Himalayan salt? It's a pink salt, and it's full of really, really good properties, minerals. And sometimes when they tell you can't eat salt, if you would like to eat salt, Himalayan salt won't do you harm. It's quite nice. So I use that and salt that up. And this is the machine that I've got, the grilling machine. And I'm just going to pop it over here and switch it on. Okay, and I've put it on maximum heat. Now, if you have a sandwich maker, you can do that in a sandwich maker. Is that stove on that side?
I have turned it on, but
it's not doing much, is it? Okay, the polenter's thickening up now. It's starting to get a little bit nice and thick. Just have to have patience with this stove sometimes. Oh, I think the fuse is just gone. Do we have an electrician in the house? Maybe I can't run this and the stove together. Okay, can we break this up into another PowerPoint, please? Okay, when I put that on the grill, because my grill's got like grooves, if you want it to look pretty, put it that way, and then you'll get your grooves on your eggplant or whatever else, zucchinis or whatever you want to make. If you put it that way, you're only going to get 2 lines if you're lucky. Put it diagonally, you're going to get all the lines across. It just makes it look nicer. So when we get this going, we'll... Yep, starting to get hot. Then we'll get the lid and we'll pop it on and leave it to simmer. We'll just show you what it looks like. Whoops, it's spitting. See, it's getting thicker. And if you let it simmer for about 20 minutes to half an hour, it'll be really nice. Just don't get yourself burnt when it splatters, okay? So what I do... Sorry, Teresa, can I have that first? What I do at home, I go like this. And then I open it up. Because sometimes if you open it straight up, it does splatter, okay? So, there we go. Alright, so that one's happening. What we'll do is we'll swap these over because this one's going to go slow and that one we need the heat. So that's good. Okay, so with polenta, you can put any flavouring you like in it. It's a really versatile, and you can actually make cakes and all sorts of things with that flour. It's really good. Oh, no, that sounds good. It's working now. I'm going to put our capsicum in there. And also, if you like, Amos talked about the cayenne pepper, did he, tonight? You can chop some of that in it, it just lifts it. I didn't put too much on the one that you're having because I wasn't sure who likes the hot spice or not. So you just make it according to your taste. Okay. So once that gets going, I'm going to have these eggplants ready for the end. We're going to just add a little bit more. We'll add our tomato sauce. Did I drop a lid? I did drop a lid. Okay. We're going to add our tomato sauce and our soy sauce into it. Do that now. And the soy sauce, and that'll be instead of the water, it'll give it a nice dark colour. A little bit of a contrast to a red sauce. This will be nice and dark. I'll show you in a minute. It's a nice, can you see that colour? Okay. Now when you put tomato, sometimes tomato paste gives it a very sour taste. So you can always sweeten it up a little bit either with some dates or date sugar or a little bit of maple syrup, or you could put some, today we're going to use a rice malt syrup just to give it a little bit of flavour and also to break that sourness. If you notice that when you buy tomato soup, it's always got sugar in it because the tomato is very acidic and it's very sour, so it just tastes really nice like this. Okay, so we need a tablespoon of the rice malt. That's smelling really good and it's really bubbling. It doesn't take very long. Are you following the recipes? Yeah. Am I doing the right thing here? Okay. So that's almost done for us to throw in our spices. So I'm going to put in my garlic chives. And also my parsley. And there's lots of it there. It'll really give it a nice flavour. And if you look at your sauce and it's very thick, you can always add a little bit of water to it if you want it a bit runnier, but I like it like this. How's this going? Is it warmed up? We'll do our eggplant. I usually do the eggplants about 6 or 7 minutes. I'm just going to put it here on the grill. Do you? I didn't. No. That's a non-stick grill. And your sandwich maker is most likely the sandwich press, not the maker. Sandwich press is probably non-stick as well. So, yes, you don't need to spray. A non-stick one? Yeah, you won't have to spray. No. And then put the olives in, if you like olives. You can buy the chopped olives. I put the whole olives so that those that don't like it can take them out. And this is almost done. You can just put your lid on it and simmer it, and as soon as the polenta is ready. Now the polenta, give it a stir every now and then while, you put it down and then you give it a stir. Make sure that it's mixed well while it simmers. You don't have to do it too often, but just about 2 or 3 times while it's cooking. It just helps. It's looking really good, see? Okay, and the sauce is just about ready as well. And I'm going to put the eggplant into here. Okay. So, have you got yours? You haven't got your trial yet? That's okay. That's good. Any questions? No questions. Oh, well, that's lovely. Now I'm going to ask you, those that have tried something from last week's demonstration. Excellent. Excellent. Lovely. Very good. Oh, there you go. That's awesome. Very good. So did the family or whoever you cooked for, did they like it? Yes? Oh, lovely. That's good. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to pour that polenta. Once it's done, I'll pour it onto a tray. Now, if you want to be naughty, the polenta, when you put it in the tray and it cools down, you can actually slice it really nicely, and you can fry that up in some nice olive oil, and it crisps up the edges. I wouldn't recommend it if you have a heart problem, but it does crisp up every now and then if you want a treat. It really tastes beautiful. So slice it up into about, I don't know, about half an inch. What's that in centimetres? I'm trying to think. It just shows you how old I am. It's about one and a bit centimetres, and then you just brown it in olive oil, and you get that lovely golden crispy crust on it, and it's really yummy. And then put the sauce on top, and that's really nice. But like this is very healthy because there is no oil in here at all. So there's only oil in a little bit of oil in the sauce, but not in the actual polenta. Okay, now how are we doing for time? We better move it quick now. I won't put the polenta out just yet because it's still cooking. I'll have to come back to that. But what we can do is I'm going to do your dessert next. And that's going to be a pumpkin bread or pumpkin cake or whatever you want to call it. If anyone wants to see what a Himalayan salt looks like, you're welcome to come up afterwards and have a look. I'll leave this packet here. You can find it in the supermarket, and sometimes they sell it in a little container. And you've got it's like a rock Himalayan salt. You can get that in a container. It's pink in colour, but I think you can also get the fine one. And you can buy it in a lot of places, yes. So we'll just leave it here, and you can have a look at it afterwards if you like. I'm just going to bring my next tray over.
And Lydia, to forget to tell you that we have it downstairs in the shop, Himalayan salt.
Yes, we do. That's
Yes,
right.
we
Thank
do.
You, Joe. Yes, thank you. I might need that. Okay. Okay, we're going to use pumpkin. I might take this off the stove because it's still cooking, and I think it's going to be overdone. So I'm going to just put this somewhere else for now. Just got to get all my utensils organised. I'll need my food processor.
Can I ask you a question, Lydia?
Yes.
You came to Australia in 1969, is that correct?
Yes, but I won't tell you how old I was. I must have been a baby.
Now, metric conversion came in 1966. So where
Well-
did you learn inches?
I learned inches at school.
Because you came from Brazil, it was centimeters, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
You have no excuse.
I still find it hard because when I was in high school, we dealt with the with the inches and feet, and yeah, I'm 5'1.5", and I don't know how many centimeters that is. So it's just funny how you get used to something. Okay. Now chop. Sorry, go on.
After you briefly explain,
Yes.
cut it in small pieces and put them in the sauce.
Yes, I just cut it in half. This has got a minute to go. It's almost done. And I just cut it in half and put it in the sauce. But yeah, just mix it with the sauce. Yeah. Yep. That's almost done. So I'm going to just get this ready for my my cake. Now I'm going to use 400 grams of pumpkin, and I'm using Jap pumpkin because I like Jap pumpkin. It's lovely and colourful, and it's always very sweet. So I'm going to put 400 grams of Jap pumpkin, and I'm going to just process that. Sorry about the noise. I'll just give it a... What's beeping? Oh, that's my eggplant's ready. Okay. All right. Just have to get a... Thank you. I'll just put it in here so they can see what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's grilled. Okay. So if you like, you can just put it in like that, but I've cut it up in half so that it's not so lumpy. So I'll just put that into the... do you want to cut that up and then put it in the sauce? Thank you, Rosetta. And I'm going to just whiz up this pumpkin. Oh, wait. The trick to this is to mix your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients in two separate sides, okay? So in here I'm going to put my dry ingredients, in here I'm going to put my wet ingredients. So can I have the spatula, please? The spatula. Okay, just give it another go. That's what it looks like. Okay, so that's my pumpkin. Into here, I'm going to put all my wet ingredients, which if you look down at your recipe sheet, it starts off with your rice malt syrup, 3/4 of a cup. I've just measured 3/4 of a cup. Pop that over here so you can see. Thank you. Going to do we have another one at the back? Is that it? Is that it? That's it? Okay. Okay, because we don't have enough, 3/4 of a cup, I'm a little bit short. You can put maple syrup or you can put anything else. And I'm just going to put extra molasses into it. Now molasses is really, really good for you because it's got all these lovely minerals. It's the first takings of the sugar cane and it's full of minerals for you. So don't worry about it if you have to do that. And this is the good thing about when you're cooking, you just experiment, and sometimes you just put in things that will make up whatever you're missing. You just try it. So I'm just going to put some molasses into here. This is black, and I've made up 2/3 of a cup. Okay, that'll go in there. This is instead of sugar. Okay, and this is a very good sugar. Now I need another. Oh well, I've got here maple syrup. So because I've already put molasses in there, I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup. I'm mixing up, aren't I? I'm putting 1/4 of a cup of the maple syrup, but on your sheet, it's got what you need to put in there. Okay. So you put your sweetening and your pumpkin and also your vanilla. I'm putting 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Thank you, Rosetta. Yep, Rosetta's chopped up our eggplant to go into the sauce. I use vanilla extract. Sorry, not essence. Extract, pardon me. I like extract better. Vanilla essence is very alcoholic-y and it doesn't have, to me, it doesn't taste the same. So if you can't get the vanilla bean, then get vanilla extract. Okay. All right, so we've got all that. Oh, thank you. That's good. I'll empty out some of this. I might leave this on the table and they can have a look at it. You can buy Ralph's malt syrup from any of the Coles supermarkets or probably Woolies as well, and we've got them downstairs as well. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll mix all these wet ingredients together. Now I'm going to use a product called Chia, and I'm sure you're all aware of what Chia is. It's on my other tray. Yep. I just need 10 hands, I think. Do you want to put it lengthways? And I'll put this one lengthways. Okay. Thank you. Now, chia, I'm using chia instead of egg, and I'm doing 1 tablespoon of chia to 4 tablespoons. And the chia seed's gone all nice and gluggy. That's what we want. We want it to go nice and jelly-like. And that goes into my wet ingredient. And then I'll just give it a little whiz so it mixes everything together. That's done. That's my nice rich mixture. And then last I put in 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. Well, this is 2/3, so I'll put half. Okay, now that's all ready. The wet things are together and the dry things are together. I'll just give this a little mix again. Okay, and now we just mix the two. We'll just marry the two. And it smells delicious while it's cooking. It really smells good. Yes, it does. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but a lot of the people that I have actually given it to, they've loved it. So, and there is no sugar. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, there is about, yeah, okay. Now, we've got a frosting that we've got there. I'm not going to do that one tonight. But that's if you want to have sugar. You can have that frosting. It's delicious on top of it. But we'll just give you the healthy bit. Okay, so here's our mix. Nice and ready for the cake tin. Now I'll just spray my cake tin with a little bit of oil. Thank you. Before I put the paper in so that the paper can stick to it. Don't spray it after you put the paper in. You don't need to, okay? So just put the paper inside. Usually leave a little bit on the side because it stops the cake from burning. If you cut the paper too small and there's nothing over the top of it, it can burn the edges. Now it cooks fairly slow, so it takes about an hour to cook on 180 degrees Celsius if you've got a fan forced oven. Okay, so you just prepare your pan and slip this into it. And that's it. It's a fairly quick cake, very simple. If you like a date slice or something like that and you like butter on it or something, you can do that. Or if you just have it plain, yeah, you can just serve it for afternoon tea. And it keeps for quite a bit. It keeps for a good week. Keep it somewhere cool in the fridge if you want to. And it can keep up to a week. You can freeze it and defrost it well before you use it. And that's our cake for tonight. So that ends our recipe, but I'm just going to pour the polenta out because that is ready. It's nice and lovely and that's a really filling dinner and it's very quick. So it takes roughly to do the whole lot, takes you about half an hour to finish your tea. Because while this is cooking, you can prepare the sauce. So it's very, very quick. And it's very nutritious because you've got all the vegetables in the sauce and you've got all the herbs in it as well. And if you like, you can sprinkle some cashews or some pine nuts. Is really lovely. If you sprinkle pine nuts on top, it's really nice. Roasted pine nuts. That's it. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Yes? Oh, good. Thank you. I'll put it down so you can take it hot. Okay. Any questions? You can. You can serve it straight away. If you have leftovers, like I said, you can heat it up again, or you can have it. The longer you leave it, the harder it gets. Like now, it's still a little bit soft. You can eat it straight away if you want to. Definitely, yeah. It's nice when it's fresh. It's lovely and soft. Thank you, Rosetta. Okay, and we'll just go out the back and pop this in the oven. And we've enjoyed having you here for our demonstrations. Enjoyed making the things that we have showed you, and come again next year when we have it. Usually around about April, May we'll have one, and then later on about August, September we'll have another one. So
you want to call the crew out? I don't know if you realize how many people are involved. Come on out. A lot of things going on behind the scenes, and through the whole day they are in there working. There's more than that. And they're all coming. And there are some in the audience too, I can see. Mercy. There's boys in the back. People on the camera. We are live streaming, by the way. And that'll be on the YouTube. So if you want to log into our site, you will see it there. So thank you very much, girls. We appreciate. Oh, here they are. We can't do without them. Oh, wow.
He's 82 today.
82 today.
Thank you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Oma. Happy birthday to you. Hooray!
Thank you.
82. That's very nice.
Is a beautiful lady that comes, and she's got 3 lovely boys, the electricians, that help us out with all the electrical things. And both of these, this is Rosetta's mum and Mim is Rosetta's mum-in-law. So they're really wonderful ladies. Thank you.
Okay, so don't forget, Vegetarian Y registration and survey. If you'd like to be contacted next time when we are on, please fill your name and leave it with the girls in the front. Now, just before we go, you can ask questions, you can remain behind and have a look at what I have done here. I'd like to invite Pastor Matthias just to offer a little prayer for protection and for thankfulness for God's mercy and love. Thank you.
Okay, shall we just bow our heads in prayer? Our dear Father in heaven, we thank you tonight for this time we've been able to spend together. And each of the sessions, we pray that you'll bless each and every one that's been here with health and strength and improvement of health. And so we pray for your care until we can meet again. And we thank you for the cooks and all that has been presented. And we thank you for your blessings of being able to eat food that is good for us. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
And of course, we can't forget Alistair and Amos. We thank them for the presentations, and I hope you have benefited from that too. Now,
every week, there's a group that comes and sets up all your chairs and the tables, and Chris with the YouTube sound and all that sort of thing, and all the boys that come and help. Abraham and David and Cameron, and there's a whole bunch of people that help, and we're just very thankful to you all.
Now, I just want to also let you know, you're very welcome to come and visit us on Saturdays. We do have our meetings on Saturday mornings. We start from 9:30. Our main service is at 11 o'clock, and then we have a combined potluck lunch. So if you'd like to try some of these vegetarian and vegan, well, it's all vegan mainly. If you'd like to try some food, you're very welcome to come. So God bless you. Don't forget the shop downstairs. Elaine will go down. Lydia, I'm so sorry, but Marcel has asked if you can find a recipe sheet for the ice cream.
Okay.
That was you. Okay. I didn't have a chance to tell her because a phone was with me, so I'm sure you can find that. Any other questions, please come and see the girls and talk to them. Thank you. God bless you.